Check out what the girlfriend bought me for Valentine's Day. Nice, ain't it? The thing that I do hate about it is that I'm not 30 pounds heavier because this is what it does. It comes all the way down. Anyway, let's get back to making boxing videos. Let's see if this is in the right spot. Yes, it is. Alright, guys. Welcome to The Distance. My name is Julian Williams. I'm going to do a prediction for this Jesus Soto Karass vs. Mike Jones rematch. It takes place this weekend on HBO on the undercard of Donaire vs. Montiel. Highly anticipated matchup. This matchup is actually one of the first rematches this year, other than Rossi vs. Chambers. But this is one of the first high-profile rematches this year. There are quite a few people who watched the undercard of Pacquiao versus Margarito that believe Soto Karass won. There's some people that believe it was a draw. It could have gone either way, draw or a win for Soto Karass. Anyway, if you hadn't seen the matchup, early in the fight, Mike Jones had punched himself out, and Soto Karass took advantage of it. And the ending result wasn't too pleasurable for fans and observers of the fight. I didn't think that Jones won the fight. I thought it was more. I thought Soto Karass won it. That's just I think I said the last time I had a draw, but after watching it again, I just thought it was a Soto Karass, more so a Soto Karass fight. And there's a couple people out there that think Jones won, but we see fights differently, I guess. But it is what it is. But with this rematch coming, Mike Jones being the young fighter, Soto Karass being the older fighter, a lot of these rematches with young fighter versus old fighter usually plays out a specific way. Sometimes the young fighter comes in and their confidence is a bit on the downside after, especially when there's no blemishes on the record, and the young fighter comes in a little bit nervous, and the older fighter, takes advantage and capitalizes off of that because the younger fighter froze, or the younger fighter comes in and fights a completely different fight. So that's pretty much the two ways I'm going to go about this fight. But I'm not going to let you know what I think until the very end of this video. Now, for Soto Karass to win, Soto Karass is a tough fighter, stands straight up, and he loves the fight. I've seen him take some nasty shots, some nasty shots on the chin, very solid shots, and they don't really affect him. Even in the Mike Jones fight, the average B-level fighter with the average chin wouldn't have been able to take the punishment that Mike Jones was given to Soto Karass. Soto Karass was just standing there eating the shots, and the referee didn't stop the fight. But in this fight, Soto Karass is going to have to, I think he's going to have to try to find a way for the right hand to land. Overhand right, counter overhand right. He's going to have to jab a lot more. He doesn't really lead in with the jab too much. He kind of, leads in with power punches. He jabs. Don't get me wrong, he jabs, and it's not necessarily the stiffest jab. It's that jab that kind of sets up just another punch. Mostly it's like a 1-2, and he steps forward, steps in the straight line, and just looks for, and pretty much just looks to fight. He's gonna have to make this a fight in order to win. He's gonna have to find a way to counter. He's gonna have to find a way to make Jones, be wary to throw combinations, effective combinations, because in the last fight, Jones wasn't hurting Soto Karass, and he tried to take him out. So somehow, some way, he's gonna have to find a way to drag Mike Jones into deep waters again, to a deep territory, to where Mike Jones, later on in the fight, does something like he did, in the fight back in November, where he gets in there and he just punches himself out. He's gonna have to find a way to drag him into deep waters, because 9 out of 10 times, young fighters who have that instinct, that killer instinct to them, and they feel that, all right, I'm in deep waters now. How do I get back to this specific territory? More than likely, with young fighters, they're gonna find, and they look for that opening. They look for an opening. More than likely, they're gonna try to go for the kill. and he needs to make Mike Jones try to go for the kill in the middle of the fight maybe, and find a way to win the earlier rounds. And he's gonna have to work a lot more than he's used to working. And he does tend to start a little bit slow, but he's gonna have to work a lot more in the early goings of the fight. I think if he would have worked a little more earlier in the fight, he would have decisively won the fight. So maybe, jab him more, throw a few more combinations, come forward. Try to get inside that lead foot and go to the body. Go to the body a lot more is another key strategy for Soto Karass, because Soto Karass, if he goes to the body and then Jones tries to go for the kill again, then that's all she wrote. But I think those are going to be effective ways for Soto Karass to win. Just be aggressive and be effective at being aggressive. That's going to be pretty much that's going to be the way to victory for Soto Karass. Mike Jones is going to have to fight this fight a whole lot differently. I think that, like I said, with the Soto Karass strategy, Mike Jones basically punched himself out, and it was a different fight after he punched himself out. Mike Jones in this matchup is going to have to fight this matchup the way that he intended to fight the matchup at first. I think that he wanted to focus on boxing, and I think he may have seen, when he saw the opening, he went for the kill. And he does have a killer instinct to him, but there's more dimensions to his game. He can box, he can fight, or he'll fight with you. But I think in this matchup he's gonna have to focus a lot on boxing, throw a lot of combination jabs at a high volume, volume of jabs through combinations, jab combinations, a lot of movement, because Soto Karass has come forward in that straight line. So he's gonna have to angle a lot, jab from the angle, occasional power shots, but he's gonna have to make this fight as sloppy as he could possibly make it. That's just his best bet, as in not sloppy as in holding, clinching, just ugly in-fighting, roughhousing. None of that. Just simply standing on the outside, keeping the range, keeping the distance, landing the jab, jabbing effectively, occasional power shots. Just focus on boxing. Sweet science at its best. That's going to be the way for Mike Jones to win. Not only that, though, I think mentally, if he sees that opening with Soto Karass, I think he doesn't want to go for the kill this time. I think he wants to maybe land a few power shots, come outside, and start jabbing and throwing a few combinations. But I think those are going to be the keys to victory for Mike Jones. I can go on and on, but I'm not. Don't have that much time. So what I think about this matchup, after the results I laid out in the beginning, I think the young fighter is going to come in and he's going to fight a lot differently. I just think that with younger fighters, I think that with younger fighters you can train them at this point in their career to fight a certain way. They come in, they fight a certain way in one fight, but they learn from their mistakes in the second fight. So I think that Mike Jones, and a lot of people are think very highly of him. People even talking about Jones versus Berto back in like November before the Soto Karass fight. But a lot of people were talking about that fight, and I think Mike Jones is ready for bigger and better opportunities, but he has to get through this. He has to get through Soto Karass before he gets steps up a few notches. But I'm gonna go with Mike Jones in this match. But I think Mike Jones will come out. I think he can. I think he has the ability to outbox him and learn from the mistakes from the last fight and get a unanimous decision. So I'm gonna go with Mike Jones. Though I feel a little funny about picking Mike Jones because I like Soto Karass, but I'm gonna go with Mike Jones. So anyway, guys, that was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.